Hello, Assalamualaikum, Selamat Sejahtera. Hello, everyone. Welcome to tonight's live MCC, Malaysian Craft Council, first ever live, which this special session is what we're going to call the Golden Exchange Hour by Malaysian Craft Council. So this is going to be aired every Sunday. Make sure you tune in and find out what's the upcoming programs and upcoming talks and series we'll be having, right guys? So because this is the first time ever Malaysian Craft Council making a live appearance, so we definitely have a very special guest. Yep, a very special guest, none other than the Malaysian Craft Council President. I'm KD, aka the Bling Boss, your host for tonight, and I'll be hosting the Golden Exchange Hour on Malaysian Craft Council. Tonight will be first airing on the Facebook, and later will be airing as well on the YouTube, right? Okay, so due to some technical situation, we will only be able to air tonight on Facebook. So guys, it's okay, stay tuned, come on board and go ahead and share with your friends. Tonight's session will be in English. However, we will selang-seli in Bahasa Melayu if there's a need as well, right? But tonight's session exclusively mainly will be in English, and we also have Bahasa Melayu session with other hosts as well. Okay, so let's see, do we have more people coming on board? Yes, let's see who's coming on board. We have quite important guests coming as well. Okay, before that, let me introduce a little bit about the Malaysian Craft Council President. This gentleman is none other than the ever amazing visionary Mr. Nick okay, I was going to say something else, but never mind. Nick Faiz Ning Amin, right? Nick Faiz Ning Amin has been in the industry, guys, for forever. He's born in the craft family. His own family has been in the industry, in the craft industry, for generations. So he knows the in and out. He knows the challenges. He understands the struggle. Yeah, he himself is also the founder of Gahara, which is also a Batik company, yeah, a manufacturing as well as a retail company who advocates, really advocates our craft industry. So let's welcome our President, Malaysian Craft Council President, Mr. Nick Faiz Ning Amin. All right. Hello, how are you, Nick Faiz?
Hello. Hi, KD. Thank you for having me tonight.
Hey, all right. So welcome. Yeah, I'm welcoming you from the Klang Valley side, and we're having Nick Faiz from all the way streaming from
Kota Baru, Kelantan.
Exactly. This is fantastic. Okay, Nick Faiz. Now let's see. Malaysian Craft Council has been, well, it's been somehow in the industry for I'm not really sure though. I think a lot of people out there not really sure how long it's been in the industry. Somehow it has been it's been like quite a buzz. You know, there's a lot of curiosity out there. There are people wondering as well, and they perhaps thinking another craft NGO or another craft association. So what can this organization do now for our local craft industry? Do we need another one? Yeah, so just tell us a little bit, what is Malaysian Craft Council and how actually it began?
Okay, thank you very much, KD. I truly appreciate the this kind of session where we can actually spell out what has been in our in our society, and or maybe in our small group of people who are doing all these things. And Malaysian Craft Council, the initiation of this started in 2019 when I will say that was my 12 years or 11 years of involvement in Batik directly, but I, since as you were saying, that I'm the third generation of Batik maker, and I've been knowing this industry, you know, from out and in, and we have been practicing life as an artisan, life as a trader. I myself has been a trader as well at some point. And then how do I see this industry grow, and you know, the manipulation of some group, and how you know, what best can we do? Because for me, the most important thing is about the appreciation of craft, and you know, because it's a great art, and we're talking about the legacy of culture and everything. So Malaysian Craft Council, it was initiated in 2019, in late March 2019, and we registered it in ROS, Registrar of Society, and yeah, council. Many people thought that the name council cannot be registered, but yeah, I think we have an issue to bring that out in the beginning. And of course, when it comes to that, we have to register it in Bahasa Melayu. So it is Pertubuhan Craft Malaysia, but I want to keep that a council because of the international dealing and networking that we want to establish, and it will be easier when the global citizen knows that Malaysian Craft Council. So the organization and everything. So I registered it after a few discussions and brainstorming and trying. I registered it as Pertubuhan Craft Malaysia, in bracket dikenali sebagai Malaysian Craft Council.
Known as Malaysian Craft Council. So officially, out there, Pertubuhan Craft Malaysia is basically Malaysian Craft Council.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So and then when I have that, it makes things easier, and then we can actually look up into the branding, because for me, when I want to create a society or an NGO to represent our craft, it's not to you know, to compete with what is available in the industry during that time. And we know that government has been forcing a lot of you know, implementations and the agencies to take care of these national treasures. And we also have from the NGO side, the societies, associations, something that people do it voluntarily. So we have a lot during that period of time, even until now. So why do I need to have another NGO? And it came up to a point where I think it's crucial to have a voice that represents real artisan. I must say that.
So you're saying that the existing right now, the existing organizations or the associations, societies are not really representing the locals' voice of the craft world or our artisans themselves?
Okay. I wouldn't say yes. They do not represent the craft artisans, but the implementation seemed to not be following what was initially planned, because most of these NGOs, they have been around for more than 10 years or maybe more than 20 years. So you know, the passing of throne from one person to another has led this vision to be blurred and maybe you know, distorted or went into a different direction. So I don't know what has happened, but what I can see that the industry has not been represented enough, and the voice of artisans has not been well heard of. So and then certain group of people get privileged, where the other group of artisans are not. And I can.
So there are, it seems as if there's this status quo in the industry. So there are the privileged ones, and the real, in a way, is what I'm trying to is what I'm getting from you. It's like the real artisans, the real artisans who are on the ground, who really got their hands dirty, you know, they are not being represented truly enough. What you try, is that what you're trying to say? Meaning that that's the gap in the industry in that sense.
All right. It goes into the psychology of that person. Artisans, they are very, you know, they have heart, and they do things with their sincerity, and they don't really do things for money. And yeah, at most, this group of people, really produce something out of their, like very pure heart. So when we want to bring in to a level of commercialization, yes, of course, when it comes to sustainability and everything, it has to go into commercialization. But these people might be having a little limitation to think about that. So when talking about the psychology of these people, they do not intend to go into a busy lifestyle. They would prefer to be staying,
in the background,
secluded in the background, not to be in the spotlight and whatnot. So I think in order for us to go and reach them and probably to go close to them, is that you have to know how to speak their language. So you do not dictate and create a formula or maybe set up a system of how you want it to be without knowing what they want and how they live. So these are the things that I think MCC need to be sensitive about, and we are so much of not only a sustainability part in terms of commercialization and economic attainment, but we also have to look from the perspective of education, transfer of knowledge, getting to have the next generation of master artisan. So these are the things that we are thinking about.
Right. So I understand that one of the core values of MCC is definitely the education part. And like what you mentioned, there seems to be that gap as well in the succession plan, because like you said, the organization, the existing active organizations, a lot of them has been in the market for many years, but yet still the artisans are not being represented enough. Right. So can you share a little bit more on that, on how MCC is able to close the gap or bridge the gap in a way to truly manifest or execute your core value, one of your core values, which is on the education part and the succession plan?
Okay. Well, this thing will need to come into a different levels of thinking and also a different perspective that we have to look on. But not to say that MCC is me and I want to make MCC to be my way, but I can share one of the very key points of why MCC should be doing this. Being the third generation of batik maker, I saw how my grandfather, really put their heart and soul into craft and live and die with craft. And in his old days, he don't even have the freedom of finance or getting to have a luxury life. Nothing about that. Whereas he was actually the one who did real piece of batik, and before that he was also involved in the silver work, like being a silversmith. Yes. So
okay.
when he did that, I thought it was actually from the story of my mother that she said my grandfather used to do the miniature of the bridge of Sultan Yahya Bridge.
Wow.
In real silver.
I got goosebumps.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting to know.
Yeah. So certainly this thing has to be changed. We have to find a way on how do we distribute the profit from the real piece of art to be well distributed between the makers, the traders, and also those who are promoting it outside or maybe bringing it to the end consumer. There must be a way about that. So I think with us in MCC, it took a while for the few main group of people to be discussing about this and then try to convince the next member who are joining MCC to be able to understand and to be willing to volunteer their time and expertise and time and expertise to be able to bring this MCC out and then the project to be out and to get more people to be receiving it better. And of course, when you are talking to this group of people, maybe from the policymakers, it's a different language than when you are speaking to the artisan. So we have to be balanced in both.
You're right.
Yeah.
I understand. You've mentioned also about that when we talk about the artisans, they work from the heart, and that's interestingly, I think that has been the culture of the Malay culture and maybe perhaps the Asian culture, where compared to the Western, where we are very much a nation or people who work from the heart. Yeah.
Correct.
But at the same time, there's also this commercialization aspect. And when we talk about culture and passing down the knowledge, it is also something that it comes from the heart. You know, you know how our Malay culture would actually pass down the generation. It's like from my great grandfather. But yet, what do you think? Because being a third generation, when we talk about knowledge transfer, the silversmith, in fact, like you said, your late grandfather had that skill. Was that transferred to your family? The batik was, yes, definitely, it is manifested through you. I can definitely see that. I've visited your manufacturing, batik manufacturing place as well at Rumah Gahara. Yeah, what about the silver part?
Okay. I guess there is one language when we talk about art, and that language is purity, sincerity, you know, the willingness to create art, because every single art piece that we produce by hand is a masterpiece.
Yeah,
so there is
yeah.
no identical twin of batik
Correct.
piece.
Yeah.
So when you are saying that the art is transferred, I
The
have
knowledge itself, you know, the skills, was that able to be transferred from your late grandfather, or it was just the batik only? What do you think the gap in that itself, being, you know, in the artisan family, being a
I
third
guess
generation?
it goes by you know, it goes by skills that you practice. It's not something that you is state of the art that you cannot learn. So when you you know, when you do batik like continuously on a daily basis or something, at one point you will get to be somewhere. It's just the patience that we need and the passion about craft. Yeah. So patience and passion. So we have to be able to master that, and you will be able to undergo all the process of doing what you're doing in craft. It's not only batik, and of course we can tell that you know, every person has their own taste. So the how, you know, their creation will be based on how they feel like doing it. Because if I don't really like black, I wouldn't do something in black throughout. So it's a language that we are speaking through art, that you can actually represent it on a paper or on a canvas or anything. So when you were asking me about the transfer of knowledge and what was there by my grandfather in his life, I would say not to say that he maybe I didn't know, maybe he chose to be doing that, but on the other hand, I would say that maybe because he don't have other options of doing some other work, and then he just do what he do. I mean, I think it's not about the choice in life, but it's something that he has to do to earn a living, because most of the artisans in our country live that way. And then because I was my grandfather was actually from the Kampung Sireh side, and then he it was actually the area of Kampung Sireh that you can find a lot of silver makers or silversmith. And now it is in Mora area in Tumpat.
So does Kampung Sireh still remain one of the places where this silversmith no more?
Sadly, no.
Wow, that's sad.
I think there is no one in Kampung Sireh who are still doing silver because of the when the government decided to make a road expansion. We have Saleh and San. We have a few other silver makers who have closed shop, and I don't know, maybe their descendants has not been continuing that. It was only KB Permai that was still existing, that are still existing.
Wow. It is kind of sad when you mention that, because the fact that we ourselves realize that there's a lot of skills, arts that's not being passed down, not able to be passed down the generations. I know that my late grandmother, but she passed away early. She also, what we could see was the display of art, the golden embroidery, very uniquely to the Minangkabau, the Negeri Sembilan Adat Pepatih
Is it a
artwork.
cut?
The tekat, the golden tekat, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the only basically physical thing that I could see what my late grandmother did.
Yeah.
She passed away at 40 years old, so I didn't even get a chance. Of course, yeah, but in a way, it is still sad the fact that she did all that, even all her wedding attire, even the fans, But we right now the even don't talk about the third generation, even the second generation is not able to acquire that.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why education is one of the core pillars, core values
Exactly.
for MCC. Now, having said that, since the establishment or the starting of MCC, what are the real challenges, struggles, especially then now going to, now that we're in pandemic, going to endemic, or basically the whole COVID situation, what are real challenges and struggles that you yourself observed and see among the artisans and the players of the industry? Yeah.
Okay. I mean, so in this question, we don't even look at MCC existence yet, but it was since maybe a few years back when we have this issue of craft has not been a sustainable career for some group of people. True. Because especially for the younger generation, they thought that craft is not a good choice because you are doing work in a very uncomfortable condition, with the sweat and the heat, and when you are actually working in an air-conditioned area, it will be more, appealing and comfortable for yourself.
Right, yeah.
So when we're talking about that issue, definitely succession planning is a real problem. Not many people are willing to do, not many youngsters are willing to do batik and standing for how many hours and just to get the piece ready. And then they are paid, in a very small amount. And they do not have the courage to say that, okay, my art worth this much. Yeah, so this is the thing that we are facing. Even, Rus Gahara is my brand. When I start promoting my brand, I was already equipped with information and knowledge about design, knowledge about, a little bit about business. So I have to create a formula that the artisan has to be well paid.
Exactly.
Because they have to earn a living at the same time, and then we cannot afford to lose this cultural legacy. So of course, the getting the younger generation to be in this industry is a problem, and the imitate version of batik, songket from overseas countries that is actually sold in a lot lower price, and then they did it in machine, and people cannot compare. Even batik, people cannot compare whether it's machine made or handmade. So these are the things that comes into real issues, and of course these artisans who are doing work in, with their heart cannot compete with this such global phenomenon, I would say. Yeah.
So how do you think MCC could address that? Because that seems to be, if you were to look deeper into that, that's really about self-esteem issues, isn't it? It's more of self-worth and pride on the value of your work, your own work. How can, what can the organization do in that sense to address that? And even the government themselves, the industry players, having realized your observation on that they don't dare to even ask, this is, what my work worth. Yeah, it's kind of interesting that yesterday I was also talking, I went live yesterday on another platform. I was also talking the fact that people were asking about what's the difference between a brand going international and local. Why do we even just want to do Malaysian local? Is it important that we also appear international?
Oh, yeah.
Right. So I was
We have
saying
to
that,
appear
of
internationally.
course, you have to still appear international. But the first thing is this also is kind of interesting to note, like what you said, the fact that also funny that aren't our own local people, aren't our own Malaysians deserve the best too? So would it be right that you put the best work and then price it right so you can live well, you have your own worth, right? And also the people who wear it, first and foremost, like, in Japan, they don't compromise on the culture or language, right? But the best will go first to their people. It seems that now the best work, the best artwork, the best quality of produce are being exported instead of given back to the local Malaysians.
Okay.
It's as if we are a third rate people, that we deserve only a third rate quality. What's your say about
Uh,
that? Wow,
there were
that's
a
a
few
slightly,
sets of questions that you asked me just now, but okay,
uh,
let me just address on the last one. When
yeah.
we have this, it goes back into uh, our national, no, not our nationality, our perception,
Mm,
our national perception,
mm,
our nation's perception about art, and how do we perceive craft of Malaysia, whether we want to
mm,
position it on a level where as how high the international audience would appreciate,
right.
or we just think that, oh, this one is just made in Kelantan, this one is just made in Kampung Penambang, why do you want to sell it so high?
Mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm, mm,
And
mm.
whereas the product that is actually sold in Turkey, or probably produced in Turkey, uh,
Right.
might be of a better quality.
Yeah.
So these are the issue that we have to face and address. And the other thing is that when your brand is recognized internationally, then the local audience will actually appreciate it more. Look
Mm,
at uh, look at Bernard Chandran,
mm,
look at
mm.
Zhang Toy, and
Zhangtoy,
a
yeah.
few major brands who have established themselves internationally,
Yeah.
and then their brand will be well accepted
Mm,
locally. Yeah, because they have positioned it in on a level where, the other Prada and everything,
mm,
the price range and where you have your office is, whether in London or whether in New York.
mm,
So these
mm,
are the perception that our people put. Is more of a branding. And then going back into the question when you ask what MCC can do
mm, mm,
to address all these issues of not being confident about selling up your artwork and everything,
mm, mm, mm.
uh, it has to go by a few different uh, layers and perspective when you need to talk about your art well, and then it has to come with a narration or narrative to represent your art. Uh, Pablo Picasso or Leonardo da Vinci do not promote themselves. That's what I
Exactly.
thought of. Yeah, you have to have a middle person or actually someone to speak about you or
Mm,
to praise your artwork and everything. So we have to position our craft in a level that we need to give more respect. And then even the makers, yes, he just live in a village, and then he just practice a very simple
simple
lifestyle,
lifestyle, yeah.
but it doesn't mean that he need to be receiving the value of lower than what it should be. Yeah.
Mm, 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 mm.
So and then look at how many weavers are available right now, like Cantonese weavers in the industry right now or in the
Yeah.
village right now. They are actually extinct. And then when you mention about the tekat, Kelantan
Mm.
has this issue also when kelingkan. Kelingkan is
Ah,
actually the gold ribbon
yeah, yeah, yeah.
embroidered into fabric, where
Yes.
Selangor has their own version, and then
Yeah,
Sarawak.
yeah, the Klinkan. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. It's
So
also beautiful art.
Kelingkan is
Yeah.
only two artisans available right now who are producing them,
The
and
whole of Malaysia or in Kelantan or
uh, I don't know about
For
Sarawak,
Kelantan
but
Klinkan. All right.
For Kelantan Kelantan is only two of them. And then
Wow.
for I'm sure Sarawak has their own Kringkam, and then I think Selangor has their own version as well. So because I'm right now establishing my database, and of
Mm,
course I
mm,
focus
mm,
in Kelantan as
mm.
one of the states that has the most craft in the whole of Malaysia. So
Huh. Talking about that, people may also wonder why Kelantan? And we thought that MCC is a federal. organization. So should be representing all states. Huh. Won't that be biased?
Okay, okay. Before I go into that, let me finish on this explanation about.
Yes. All right, all right.
I mean, MCC is actually to advocate the craft, and then we want to make more of this craft maker to be available. And then even teleport also, it's almost gone, but we try to not declare it gone because the expertise are still alive.
Alive.
To pass on the knowledge. So we are working very hard to make it happen. Now, coming into your question, as MCC is a federal NGO, yes, we have our office before this in Kuala Lumpur, and then right now MCC is still small when we have only about 20 exco members, and yeah, but I must say that currently we have about 500 members in general. Yeah, as a whole. Yeah, because you know, we position that membership to be those who are joined as a member, and those who are actually working on the projects or programs under MCC. So you know, as I was saying before, when we are talking about the language that we have to speak with, so we know which group to bring to be brought in to be speaking to which group. So before this, I was in KL, and establishment of MCC was in KL, and late 2019, I went back, migrated back to Kelantan for good. So I thought of, you know, and then a pandemic happened, and I thought we cannot do anything because, you know, everything normally has to come from Kuala Lumpur, from the city center. But no, it was actually interesting enough when I changed my
your own perception.
Yes,
your own thinking.
When I changed my own perception, I thought, I mean, it opened up to a new dimension of what I can do. And oh my God, it was so amazing to see the craft in Kelantan that we have in the categories is actually more than probably 20 categories of craft in here. And then I get to see people who are actually doing the menempa, the metal work that before you do keris, you have to temper the and then it was done by a different artisan. Yeah. And then these are the things that I have not seen in my life. A lot of things that I have not seen in my life, and yet they are still existing. So
you're not alone, definitely. If you haven't seen being in an artisan family, what more the rest?
Correct. So we need to give this into a different, we need to give a platform to these people and get the eyes or the lens of many people to be seeing or focusing into. So that's what MCC is trying to do. And answering your question of why Kelantan, it's just in the beginning. We will get into the whole of Malaysia, inshallah, sooner than we thought. It's just that the semangat is so membara that we want to really go out, and then we want to really bring our voice out, because right now that we're doing this for Kelantan, it actually benefited about 500 people, and then it will be more. Not only 500 people. Later on, I can share with you about what we do with this relief project, and it actually has helped 500 families.
Wow. And that's just in Kelantan alone.
That's just in Kelantan.
That's just in Kelantan alone.
Yes.
So can you imagine if that's just in Kelantan alone, what about other states then, right?
Yes.
So that means the number of families or artisans who would perhaps have facing challenges right now would probably be greater than. So if in Kelantan alone, you manage to help out or to reach out to 500 families, and the members 500, is it from Kelantan alone or all over Malaysia?
No, the members, I will say that 70% is from Kelantan, and the rest are actually from other states in Malaysia.
Right. Yeah. Because I understand that anyway, the whole key, like you said, the council members anyway are made up of all the different states. And of course, if you want to set up a federal level, you got to get a representative from at least 7 different states anyway.
Yes.
So yes, it seems that we do have people from Johor, from
Malacca, Perak,
Sabah, Sarawak, right? Yes. Okay. That's pretty cool. So 500 families, Nick. Which industry? Who are they?
Which
I mean,
craft category they are from?
yeah, that's a lot, man. It's really a lot.
Well, I'm so grateful when we opened up this idea of creating a humanitarian mission or a relief mission under Malaysian Craft Council or Bantuan Kemanusiaan. We reached out to a few friends of ours, just to get some consent from them and probably to say our niat, our good intention. And they contributed. And then when they contributed, we directly channel that into those who are in need. And then it was so surprising when we get into this collaboration with a few local people who know their craft, the artisans who are available in the village and everything. They said they have never been receiving any assistance from any group ever before. And then we're talking
never been any aids even before pandemic. I mean, I'm sure they probably were struggling as well before the pandemic.
Tell me about it. Some of them has not been eating rice for maybe 2-3 days, and many of them who ate rice that has already expired, or because they just don't have money to buy, or maybe they have not eaten rice for a week, and then instead they just ate tapioca and what is available in the surrounding area.
That's like back to Zaman Jepun, that's like back to the Japanese occupation, man.
That's right. So those are the things that happen,
oh my gosh.
really happen in our society right now. Yeah. And of course, many of them has already raised the white flag and everything, but still many of them has not known about this the thing that how can you ask for assistance. Many people do not know about that. And then talking about the issues of committing suicide and everything, it happened. It really happened even in the craft industry among the practitioners.
Wow, that's really a bit it's quite a concern. If you think about that, 500 families of what and of what you guys discovered and managed to reach out. Right. And just from one state alone. So it is a concern matter, the fact that what about other states then? Who are they? Okay, now right. So that I have to applaud and acknowledge really those unique families and those who are involved closely in reaching out to those 500 families.
And then I also have to tell you that somehow we were, by some group of people, we were misinterpreted by these people that we are, humanitarian NGO, whereas we are not. We are actually, our core vision is actually to, education and revitalizing craft industries and everything. But that we are actually giving out food assistance and maybe money or something. But it was just by our heart that we cannot say no to these people, so we find a way on how to help them. And of course, NGO, we are not backed by when we're talking about the source of power, we are not backed by any anything. We don't have the financial source or anything that we can actually channel it to the industry player, but we really work hard our our expertise, our time, and what can we do to make things happen. I can share with you what have we done with our few programs that we did before, and then it was actually from zero budget that we received.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Talking with the limited resources, share with us, because I think Malaysian Craft Council in pandemic itself in 2020 actually made history. And the state itself for Kelantan made history, because after 3 decades, guys, 3 decades, that's what, 30 years, nearly 30 years, nearly 3 decades, the Mak performance was banned. And finally, it happened last year. And with the limited resources, like you said, how do you make that happen? Now the MCC managed to realize that, manifested that, in limited resources and bring back the Mak Syariah compliance Mak.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
would say, right? It should be that for it to be allowed. I wasn't there last year, so I hope this year will be a very
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So before I get into that question, I must say that people might be asking, Mak and Craft Council, what does it has to do with that? Like, why Mak and everything? So I said, okay, come on, guys, let's be open-minded and then try to to expand your perspective, your horizons of thinking, and take it as Mak is an art that is actually portraying the real craft of our local people. So and for the very first time after 3 decades, as you were saying, Mak are actually presented or performed officially or in public in Tanah Kota Baru, Kelantan. I myself, a Kelantanese, have not seen Mak performance before that.
Have you been born when they banned it? Were you already been born?
Yeah, I was just like 2 years, and then I didn't get to see it. Yeah. So
okay.
So what I want to say here is that last year it was during pandemic, and then my team, Malaysian Craft Council members, they were so excited to create something, and then I still remember I spoke to one of these members, and then we thought that, guys, we do not have money, and then some of them say that we should actually pull the plug. It was actually just like very near to the event, and then we still do not have money, and they said so. So for me, being someone who are I will say I'm an activist in craft, and we have been doing this without any resources, and then we get through that successfully. And then for last year,
it was sold out, right? There were people who couldn't even get seats.
Yes, it was actually 300 seats available, and it was all sold out. And then how do I get through that? It was actually through the communication that you have to think of how do you make that successful without just tabu duit, like
correct.
Just price me your value and then we will pay. No, we went to speak to a few agencies and try to even speak to the activists themselves and the performers themselves, and get to the point of, okay, we want to create this event, and then we will find a way on how do we make things through. And then when I talk to the real makers or the real artists or artisans, they say, oh, we just want to play, we just want to perform, because for them there's a term that we call it jijo angin. Jijo angin. We just want to perform because that is actually our lifestyle or our life.
I see.
It's like you, when you don't have mic, you won't be I mean, if you're having fever and then you get a mic, then I think you'll be okay.
Okay. Got it.
Something like that.
Yeah.
When I speak to these people, I think the semangat, the spirit of making things happen, and then try to see the beauty of the performance, and then try to make people happy and entertained watching that performance is the most thing that we care about. It's not about how much can you pay and how much can you put on the table, but it's how much can you celebrate the uniqueness of your art. That is actually the thing that we were talking about, the language that we used in the last year Kelantan Exchange, the event that I called it Kelantan Exchange. And it was about celebration of art, celebration of craft, celebration of the real artisans. That's what we did last year. Alhamdulillah, it went very, very well. And it was actually just after the pandemic, the MCO one. Even in September, I think our country lifted up the first MCO in July or July, I think, and then we have the gap of a bit of lenience before we get into the second MCO. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
So how long the whole event was?
Yeah, that event held for 3 days. It was actually from 13th, 14th, and 15th of September, and 16th is a Malaysia Day. So we were actually celebrating the eve of Malaysia Day.
Ah, I see. So it's not just performance, right? There are other agendas in the whole event. So can you share a little bit more on that?
Of course. Well, I will say that Kelantan Exchange was actually a marquee event of Malaysian Craft Council. And again, why do you choose Kelantan? It's actually just to celebrate what we have in Kelantan to the bigger audience in the national level. I can say that Malaysian Craft Council has actually organized an event in the national level in Kelantan. It's just similar to the case of Santa Fe Art Festival or Cannes Film Festival.
Yeah, yeah.
Where they do things in
our Edinburgh Art Festival.
Yes, yeah. So they do it in the real place, not like, you know, when it comes to Malaysia, it has to always be Kuala Lumpur. No, it's not like that. So we did that, our inaugural event in Kelantan last year. And other than performance, I pulled out 20 artisans who have set up their booth and then made sales and do and they did a demonstration in craft, and then they also did a workshop in craft. And we also have the session of seminar and dialogue where I brought in British Council and Think City representative to talk about our craft. So this is an event that I call it on the national level, and it was quite easy to organize that because I mean, not easy, but we get a way to organize that because of the connection that I have when I was living in Kuala Lumpur. Alhamdulillah, I get to share what I have, the resources that I have with the local people in Kelantan. Not only the public, but also with the agencies, government agencies, NGOs, other societies in Kelantan. Yeah.
All right. That's interesting. Now, why exchange?
Okay.
That's also, yeah.
When we were brainstorming with the idea of having that brand, I mean, we are actually creating a brand. We have Malaysian Craft sorted, and then now we want to create an event that is not just called like Craft Festival or Festival Kesenian or something like that, but we want to create something that people will remember for a long time. So it has to be something that and the younger generation will be willing to go on. You know, when we talk about craft, okay, malam kesenian and everything, that's not appealing to younger generation. So I was actually looking up at something that we can transfer, or something that we can expand, or something that we can share. So that's how the word exchange comes about.
So it's basically like exchange of the knowledge, the arts, the love, you know, the passion. What about this year then? What's the plan for this year? Is it going to be an annual event, this Kelantan Exchange?
That was the idea, but we did not put that in our you know, in our set of what is that, constitution or anything, that Kelantan Exchange has to be an annual event. But this year, inshallah, we will be having it again. And for this year, it will be held on 11th, 12th, and 13th of November, to be held in the Grand Renai Hotel Kota Baru, and also 2 outside places in University of Malaysia Kelantan, and also in Kampung Penampang. But the idea of having this event this year was actually to do it outdoor, but we didn't get a chance to do that because you know, when we were planning to have it, it was still in a very tight condition where we were still in MCO. We just today we got to hear the information that, or the announcement that Interstate has opened. But so we decided to do it indoor, and again, with the limited resources that we have, and trying out the best that we can to give the best to our audience, to our people. But I am so fortunate, and I'm so glad to hear that our members or the audience from Kuala Lumpur, from Kedah, from Perak, from Sarawak can actually come and see the I wouldn't say 500, but it will be hundreds of artisans to be sharing their love in art and their passion in art, and we will be having a few people to talk about the Kesenian Islam and the perspective of Islam in art, and
Islamic arts and its influence.
Correct. And then also the theme this year is also quite amazing, when we are actually portraying Kelantan in their old days. Yeah.
So share with us. Can you share it with us, the theme for this year, or is that going to be a reveal later?
Yeah, it will be. We're still finalizing it.
Okay.
A few components and also perspective from other people, because we have to be very careful when it comes to heritage and history. We do not want to go out. We have to really justify that, and inshallah in the next session of this golden hour we'll share about the next Kelantan exchange that is going to be held in the November.
November.
Yeah.
11th, 12th, and 13th of November. So guys, yeah, make sure you mark that in the calendar, because you want to really block that and make yourself available and really go and head to Kelantan. Last year, you managed to, the Kelantan Exchange managed to attract more than 300 audience and visitors. So what's the target for this year?
Yeah,
Close.
last was 3,000 visitors.
Oh, 3,000 visitors, but 300 was just a Mayung, right?
Yeah, 300
performance. Yeah. Performance. Wow. So 3,000. How about this year? What's the plan for this year? What's the aim and target?
So for this year, we try to not be too ambitious about having the audience of increase than last year, because of the SOP that we still have to obey, and we do not want to have the issue of the cluster of Kelantan Exchange. So
yeah. Okay. All right.
All be well protected, and those who are attending the event or the program, the few programs that we have, has to be double dosed, vaccinated, and but we do open it up through online when we are actually having the booth or the bazaar to sell craft, to do the demonstration about craft, to do workshop on craft, but we also have it on our online platform, on our Facebook, on our Instagram, on our YouTube. So the bigger audience can actually attend online. And then believe me, it will be something very interesting, because we are bringing out something that I myself has not seen in my life. And then we are bringing them to be located in Grand Renai, and then to, that's what I said about the various lenses to be seeing and watching what is the real craft that we have in Kelantan.
So now, now that you said that interstate open, right? So now this program earlier, last time it was fully underground, but this year it will be more of a hybrid then. How many people are actually allowed on the ground, and what's happening on the ground, and then what will be available online?
Okay.
For those who cannot make it in person into Kelantan.
We're still cooking it. It's not been well. It is not really ready at the moment, because I'm still compiling the supporters and also collaborators who will be coming in with us. We just had the meeting today, and then there are a few agencies who already mentioned their willingness and confirmation to be participating. And when you say about that hybrid event, I would say that maybe we can allow about 100 to 200 or maybe 150 guests or visitors at one time. But when it comes to the forum and the dialogue session, and also we're having a dinner as well, like a magical night or something like that, that is allowed up to 300 audience. So at one
that will be similar to that last year performance, the 300 audience.
Yeah, it will be similar. We try to go more than that, but we are scared that we may not be able to control the traffic and everything. So we keep it 300. And even though the location has been changed for this year, but we try not to be too ambitious, and we'll figure it out. How do we go about that, presenting it to the audience through online, that can be more appealing as well.
Inshallah. Now, talking about online, because you mentioned about workshops and so on, will that be paid workshops, or participants, as like the online would need to pay, and on the ground, or are there complimentary ones? How would that go? Yeah, tickets to go in and stuff like that.
Yeah, when talking about the workshop, because when you are doing craft, it has to be something that you do with things, like that there's a medium, whether it's tanah liat or paper, even if you are doing the wall sobe or anything. We may be having it done offline for the workshop, but for the demonstration, certainly we can do it online, and it will be free of charge.
So for those who are viewing it and joining it online, they are actually able to get complimentary access then.
Correct. Yeah.
All right. So then everyone should really take advantage of that. So perhaps there's definitely involvements and collaborations and perhaps even assistance and help from various agencies and ministries. Actually, it's not just like the Ministry of Tourism and or Craft and Tourism. It should be like Ministry of Education, Ministry of Orang Asli, Ministry, the various ministries.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, Alhamdulillah, I think because of the portfolio that we already have from last year, we managed to pull through a good event without even assistance from any agencies. But for this year, we're gonna have it bigger because we get more time to prepare, and then we already receive confirmation of support from a few agencies, but mainly on the federal level. I don't know. Maybe of from a few group of people, they thought that they still want to see us proving of what MCC is capable of doing, and then the good intention that we have is certainly nothing to do with taking other people's job or anything in here, but it's just that we focus on we focus on those who are in need, especially among the craft artisans, because we really have to help them, because they have not been able to sell their products for a long time because of this PKP, because of this MCO. So we want to create a platform for them to sell. And then these are the people that we are talking about, the makers, not the traders, the makers of craft. Yeah.
Yeah, so that is aligned with your mission then. Let me just highlight the mission of MCC, Malaysian Craft Council. Its mission is to make Malaysian craft world-class through education, experience, and economic elevation. So I suppose the Kelantan Exchange is one of the tools or the leverage that MCC can use to execute this mission then.
Yes. So, of course, when I talk about this voice is actually not my own. I am actually representing the maybe the 500 artisans that is actually a member of us.
For now.
Yeah, for now.
For now.
The number will increase, of course. And we are actually trying to do something just for the benefit of our industry. Nothing hidden agenda or nothing to do with me, myself, or a few other group of MCC members or EXCO members who want to make money out of that, or just to, gila kuasa or anything. Nothing about that. It's purely about the industry that we want to help.
Right. Yeah. After all, it's a non-profit event anyway, right? I understand from our conversation earlier, Nick, that it's just enough to cover. And if there's profit, it will just go back to the organization to fund those activities, especially helping those 5 families and the 500 families and the 500 members. Okay, great. So now I think it's a great time to take some questions. We have really, really good, interesting questions from our audience tonight, Nick. So let's go one by one. First, we have this question. The question is Malaysian Craft Council open for NGO collaboration with other craft, arts, batik NGOs from other states?
Sorry, connection was bad. Can you repeat?
Oh, okay, I'll repeat that. Okay, I'll repeat. Is Malaysian Craft Council, MCC, open for NGO collaboration with other craft, art, batik NGOs from other states?
Of course, by all means, we really welcome collaboration, because I always believe in working together, and there is no such thing as, okay, this is my territory and that is my territory. No, we welcome collaboration, and we want to have more of association and alliance with other NGOs or other societies, other government bodies, to be working together. If not on an event or on a program, we can do it for a lifetime. We do welcome that. Yeah.
Awesome. Now, I think touching on that as well, let me just highlight also the vision of MCC. MCC's vision is to be the central advocating body of Malaysian crafts, uniting people and communicating ideas for the entire ecosystem. So definitely collaboration Definitely has to be
in our
in the agenda. So moving on to the next question, what is MCC sustainability plan for our Malaysian craft, batik, arts and culture artisan to make sure our craft, batik, arts and culture known by other countries? Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Now, in other word, I think this is what he or she asked. To bring Malaysia craft, batik, arts and culture globally.
Okay. Well, I would say that MCC is not always a man with an answer. We are not expert in our even in our industry. We're not just the expert, but that is the reason why we always welcome collaboration and networking, because we always believe there is a way for us to be dealing with anything. It's just that when it comes to the sustainability part, our core point is connecting. Yeah, we want to, if we don't know how to deal with this thing, or we know where do we reach it out, and maybe the people who are in need of those special scope will not be able to get the information from the other body who has the answer. So MCC is actually about global linkages, or even the national linkages, that we can actually connect them, and then try to give a solution to what they have, to the problem that they have. So that hence is very important for us to have the collaboration and strategic alliances, and also we do welcome if there are members who are willing to be part of us, and then grow together with us on a voluntarily basis, so they get to see what it is in MCC that we are actually talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess that's also like hence why there's that the involvement of British Council last year.
Yes.
What about this year? What are the other international bodies that will be collaborating for the Kelantan exchange this year?
I wish I don't have to mention it right now, but since you asked,
Okay.
there will be from international bodies to be collaborating.
Sounds exciting. So
yeah.
okay.
For the next session then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now the next question is MCC only for Malay artisans or open to all?
No, we do have members who are actually non-Malay. We have this Tok Dalang, the puppet player, or the wayang kulit player, who are actually Chinese. And then we do have members who are actually Siamese from Thailand. No, they are actually Malaysian, but Kelantan has a few group of Siamese living here, and they are actually producing craft. So we do have this group of people, and then we welcome from other bangsa, other races as well. And of course, we do welcome it from other states, like especially Sabah, Sarawak, who are actually very rich with their craft.
Of course, it's Malaysian Craft Council, right?
Exactly.
So definitely all are welcome. Yeah. Right. The next one is after Kelantan, where will MCC plan to organize the next event? So I suppose it's basically after Kelantan, will there be another state exchange? A different state exchange.
Well,
any ideas?
We are actually discussing with our team members right now in opening it up for the next state to be taking it, because there might be no Kelantan Exchange 2022, or there may be, I don't know, but we are actually in the planning of speaking to a few other states to be taking it up and hosting it.
Okay, so in a way it's like a traveling exchange.
Yeah, it's like we are actually like doing a roadmap. There may be Sabah exchange in next year, and then Johor exchange, Penang exchange. So we want to cover the whole of Malaysia if possible.
All right, interesting.
Even in Kelantan, in Kelantan exchange, it will not only be
necessarily in KB.
Yeah, it will not only be Kelantan craft. We may be having it craft from other states as well. Yeah, because again, it's the exchange of idea. I was actually speaking to this Japanese craftsmen who are actually interested to be sharing their craft knowledge and ideas in Kelantan exchange.
That's interesting. Will that be available online?
It will be available online.
That's exciting.
Yeah. And then coming back to your earlier question about the international involvement, it will be that, and it will be more.
So if last year we had a British Council, so this year we are expecting more international bodies, more than okay.
We always
Interesting.
look out for these international associations to be coming in with us, and because craft is always a privilege, and people is actually a talking piece among the international audience. So we want our local people to see how international people accept or appreciate our craft.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, another question is, can we buy any products that is being sold by the exhibitors online during the event?
Okay.
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah, watch out our Facebook page, Malaysian Craft Council, and also our Instagram page, because this year we are going all out, having our presence online, and then there will be slots where one artisan can be on the stage to talk about their craft and their products that they have and how much are they selling, and we can channel them. We were doing something like the wow shop kind of concept, and yeah, that's the idea. We are actually collaborating with UMK, University of Malaysia Kelantan, to be bringing it out and then try to get as much sales as possible during that period of time. Yeah, watch out our channel during that 3 days, 11, 12, and 13 of November.
Okay, that sounds very exciting. Now, it's also interesting to note that Malaysian Craft Council is not only made up of people from the industry itself. There's also, because it's about elevating the craft, or Malaysian craft to the world. So there's involvement from people or players or industry, other industry experts from various fields, right? Like you said, there's the branding, and then there's also the youth. There's also the institution like UMK's involvement and stuff like that. Just a little quick note and sharing of that. And how do you see that will actually boost and further elevate the mission and the vision?
Yeah, it's actually the holistic approach that MCC does, and my intention of doing it, because I don't always see it. You have to be able to do craft in order to be part of MCC, because we need a movers to our industry. And as long as you are passionate about craft and then you know how to talk about craft, that is enough. As long as you don't buy imitate version of batik, or you buy craft from other countries, you can buy, but you don't wear that like proudly as how you wear our local craft. As long as you have that appreciation about your own local craft, that is the most crucial thing for you to be part of MCC.
Awesome. All right. So, well, we've actually exceeded a little bit for our first Golden Exchange Hour. In fact, it's been great, insightful sharing. So before we end tonight's session, tonight's Golden Exchange Hour session, a few last message or some points or important notes to conclude.
Right. It's not a few words, but I have 4 paragraphs.
All right, sure, go ahead.
If it's okay for me to share this pantun, I might not be able to speak this, to deliver this well, but I try. This pantun was actually prepared by Arjali, one of our members. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Okay, sorry. Bismillah. Silakan.
MCC bukan sebarang tubuh. Tubuh berdiri berdarah pertiwi. Budi dan santun indah dijemari. Seni dan kraf sentiasa tersemat di sanubari. Molek diulik si getam guri. Terhias indah di pintu hati. Kelantan Exchange nama diberi. Ruang berseni bukan saya, bukan anda. Sama-sama kita nikmati. Mencanting batik di tepi sungai. Batik tak jadi, hujannya lebat. Senyum diukir, lembut gemalai. Hulurkan tangan, tanda berjabat. Gong dipukul, serunai beralun. Keris dibakar, tajam bentuknya. Budi bahasa, kemas tersusun. Mohon izin Kelantan Exchange mempersembahkan rupa. So I guess, wow, I got a goosebump reading that. And yeah, it's actually, I don't know how much I should express our sincerity about doing this. And last few days I was in Kuala Lumpur speaking to a few main people who are the key players in the industry. We really want to go all out into bringing our craft industry to a next level. And at least we have to go back into talking more about our craft. It has to be continuous. It's only us that who are able to bring this to another level and at least to make something sustainable in our craft industry.
Awesome. I guess at the end of the day, it's back to the question, if not you, then who? And if
Correct.
not now, then when? Right? Okay, so that's it for tonight's Golden Exchange Hour session, people. We hope to see you again for the next Golden Hour Exchange. And look out and watch out and go ahead and share this and follow the MCC mission and be a part of the whole global vision. Right? Until then, I see you again. This is Katie, aka the Bling Boss, for your host tonight for MCC, Malaysian Craft Council Golden Exchange Hour, signing off. All right, good night. Assalamualaikum. Thank you very much, Nick Faiz. We wish all the best.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum. Selamat malam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.